All right, let's bring in former Arkansas governor and Trump's nominee for U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. Good to see you, sir. I just want to go in on Kelly's report because I'm really interested to hear what you think about Trump's nominee for labor secretary. How do you read it?
Well, I think everybody's got to understand Donald Trump is not an ideologue. He's a pragmatist. He's looking for ways to solve problems. He doesn't fit the traditional political mold that you can predict and say, okay, he's a Republican, therefore these 10 things are always going to be exactly true about him. Or he's a Democrat. He's going to always do these 10 things. What Donald Trump looks for is what's going to work? What's going to make America a better place? I find it refreshing. I love the fact that he is keeping people on their heels, making them guess. Most importantly, he's looking to ask this most important question. Does this make America better? Does it help people at the bottom of the wage scale get better wages, better jobs, do better for their family? And so is he willing to sit down with union people? Yes. Is he going to capitulate to their every demand? No. But I'm glad that he's talking to them. For far too long, Republicans have just acted like that there's nothing that we can learn from people who are members of labor unions. I believe in right to work. I think that there ought to be some balance, and there ought to always have some realistic approach to how labor issues are dealt with. But I am delighted to see Donald Trump not just assuming that because Republicans have always treated labor unions a certain way, that's what he's got to do.
You know, Governor Huckabee, I think you raised such a great point about, maybe pushing the envelope a little bit, reaching out to those that maybe you thought you couldn't reach out to before. And it seems like the polling suggests that Americans are excited about this transition. As we talked about at the top of the show, recent polling says nearly 60% of Americans approve of Trump's transition, and you are a part of that. Do you think that we can see more of this kind of reaching out across the aisle even?
Well, we already have in just his cabinet picks, the people that he's put into place that don't fit the traditional mold. I think, again, it's refreshing. I like the fact that nobody can put him in a box and say, okay, we're going to know exactly what he's going to do. I look back at his first 4 years as president. He did a lot of things that were totally unconventional, but he didn't do it as a political person would do. He did it as a business person would do. Once again, does it work? And can we afford it? Those are the questions that government people never ask because they don't care. They don't have to pay for it.
Right.
And so therefore, doesn't matter what it costs. And does it work? They don't care. They get their jobs and their paychecks anyway.
Exactly. Governor, I want to ask you about Kamala Harris. She's telling her political allies that she wants to keep her options open. Maybe a 2028 run, maybe a run for governor in California. So clearly she thinks she has a lot of options. Do you think her political future has as many options?
Brian, I think if there's a run in her, it probably is a run for the border that she never controlled, even though she was the border czar. I mean, she blew through over $1 billion in 3 months and still lost an election. If people want to go back and try that again, good luck. But I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's going to be an overwhelming message. Hey, give me $1 billion. I can blow through it, but I'll take my time and blow through it a little longer next time. I'm not sure what she brings to the table, but if that's what the Democrats want to do, it's going to be a good day for Republicans.
Governor, I want to talk to you about Israel and what we are getting reports of as a potential ceasefire that is being discussed between Israel and Hezbollah that would impact Lebanon. This, of course, we want to ask you about because you are Trump's pick as ambassador to Israel. What do you make of these talks as you are looking at this transition?
Well, I had to be very careful because I'm not the ambassador, just the nominated person, and have to go through the Senate. Respect that process very much. But just speaking as an individual, I'm really encouraged by the fact that there's at least conversation. But one thing I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu has made clear, he's not going to go to a ceasefire that doesn't involve getting those hostages back. He's not going to just have a ceasefire to make somebody else in some other country happy. It's only if it gives the people of Israel a safer position, they can go back to their homes and not have to fear that rockets and missiles are going to fire into their neighborhoods and into their children's bedrooms at will. That's what has to happen. So if that's a ceasefire that could be done, wonderful. But if it's just simply capitulating to a bunch of overseas zealots who want Israel to lose, then I think the answer is a big no.
Governor, can I just ask you, I mean, you're walking into one of the most important ambassadorships around the globe. So many complex issues. Your role is so important. I just wonder, how do you prepare for that? You know, what are you doing now to put yourself in a position to be as helpful as you want to be?
Well, Brian, I think, first of all, you listen to people all across the spectrum who have very differing views about what needs to be done. But for me, it's a preparation that's been going on for 52 years since I first went to Israel in 1973 as a teenager, and have been going back. So most of my views of Israel are not formed because I've read a book or listened to a lecture. It's from being there, getting to know the people, understanding the landscape, and traveling it from Dan to Beersheba so many times that I could almost close my eyes and get from one place to the other.
Wow. And
watching Israel grow as a nation. All of those things, I think, have given me that sense of understanding what I'm going to be walking into.
And finally, Governor, here, we have just a few moments left, but we have to give your thoughts.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one, I would say.
We're talking about Airbnb and what some hosts are planning for D.C. as we're getting ready for the inauguration come January. There are a handful that are saying they want to remove their listings in protest of the Trump inauguration and or increase the rate that they're going to charge and then donate that to liberal causes. What is encouraging is that it seems like there are not too many people that are taking up this call, but what do you make of that?
Most people going to the Trump inauguration probably don't want to spend their money with somebody who hates them. So it's fine. Let people make their decision. It's a marketplace, and I'm kind of open-minded about capitalism. If you don't want to go there, don't go.
Yeah, ultimately you hurt yourself. You know, if you won't rent your place to somebody who wants to celebrate the inauguration, you're the one who's losing out. And if you want to do that to yourself, I guess go right ahead.
Absolutely. Governor Mike Huckabee, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.